What is up, fuckers? It's Fanta. What? Music's fucking loud. You got people just jumping all over the place. But yeah, just enjoy this lame ass commute. Going back home. I am on the 5 freeway. Not too sure. Doesn't matter anyways. It's just traffic because we're in LA. And there's traffic everywhere here. Oh wow. There's usually traffic here, but I guess not. And I've been riding for 30 minutes apparently. 25 minutes, 20 minutes. And it doesn't feel that way, it just feels like I've been riding for 5 minutes. But then again, you're having fun. Time doesn't move so slow. Who's gonna be the next victim to jump out in front of me? I don't punch in mirrors. I've never had success doing it. I just slap them inwards. Slap them in, so you're not really doing damage to the person's vehicle, even though they deserve it. But it inconveniences them. I mean, they're not going to use a mirror anyways, hence why they're in that situation. But that's what I had to do, or that's what I did before recording. Someone just had to cut me off. I don't like the new commute though. We're moving offices, or we just moved offices to somewhere in Universal City, Studio City. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not too familiar with that area. We used to be in North Hollywood. Right on, man. We used to be in North Hollywood, and the commute was really nice. The 170 freeway was really nice. Granted, it was very, very fucking hot out there, but nice, very open, mountainous. And the commute I have now, it just makes me stick to the 5 freeway essentially, and it's just boring as fuck. Like, this is the 5 freeway. I've been doing this commute for like 3 or 4 years at this point. It's just so easy and predictable, but there's no other way to get to that office. I can probably try taking the 60 freeway, but just that is my least favorite freeway to take, because the road conditions are just so terrible for motorcyclists. I can also take the 10 freeway, but that is just so boring. It has the fast track on it, I think. And motorcycles are allowed to use it for free, and it's just like, why? I ride a motorcycle because it's fun, you know, and the fast track just makes it boring. So it's the 5 freeway, which is the most fun freeway of the 3 choices that I have. But it's also the freeway I've been on for the past 4 years or so. So it's also like I know everything about it. And I only choose to continue commuting on here because it's the most difficult one, you know, and this is the most difficulty on a motorcycle. Generally means more fun, keeps you more attentive. But again, it's just, there is no challenge anymore when it comes to lane splitting. I can probably just try like jumping out into the surface streets once I get past downtown LA. You should have just taken it, my guy. Thank you. Even though you didn't have to. But yeah, like right here, it's straight boring. Cars have plenty of room to get out of the way. Oh, it's boring. But what should I get into today? Let's fucking... You could have just got out of the way. Like I was doing it on purpose, though. I mean, in case you're wondering what I use for low speed, it's a combination of like I mean, throttle remains constant for the most part. You hear me do that, the flare, where I'm like revving the shit out of it, but I'm not moving, or I'm not moving as much as the throttle suggests. And I don't know what to call it, slipping the clutch, flaring it out, I don't fucking know, but I use that. And I also use a little bit of rear brake, not a whole lot, just to modulate speed. And it's generally when I turn really hard around these cars, I just, tap the rear brake just a tiny bit just to kind of set up the suspension correctly for it. But it's not like I'm dragging it to keep it from moving slow. That's what the slipping the clutch is. You can use the clutch as a brake essentially. If you're at a low enough gear. Like right now, I'll demonstrate. So I believe I'm in second right now. First gear, I am braking. I'm not touching the brakes, but the clutch is doing all the work for me. For the most part, I use the transmission to brake, and I barely use my brakes for actually braking. Only for like really hard shit, like if I want to stop really fast like this. That's really what I use the brakes for. Did I brake check a motorcyclist? Oh fuck, that would have sucked. I don't think so, but I see some interesting looking headlights back there. Man, I didn't mean to do that. Sucks to suck. But yeah, I mean, you should be practicing these things anyways. Emergency braking, like I want to stop by the Prius, just emergency brake. Of course, don't be stupid about it. Don't like e-brake in front of a car you just cut off. That's really inconsiderate and dangerous. But you should be practicing those. Again, I've been riding for 5 years. I practice maybe like once or twice a month just to remind myself like, yeah, I can stop this fast if I need to. But if you're a newer rider, I would recommend try like 3 or 4 good emergency brakes every day just so you get into the habit, develop that muscle memory, develop those reflexes. Because when you e-brake, a lot of people don't e-brake because they're just not braced for it. You gotta kind of like brace yourself. You gotta bend your elbows a little bit. You gotta make sure like you kind of have to tighten your abs, or you gotta shift your pelvis in a way where it's not gonna jerk you forward, That's another thing to practice is practice launching. Like even though technically this isn't launching right now, but like just get used to that. Get used to the movement. Try to figure out what you should be doing with your body to so you're not getting jerked around. You gotta just pay attention. For accelerating, I think you have to throw your butt back or slide it back a little bit. Yeah, you slide your butt back a little bit to kind of brace yourself. But for emergency braking, you just kind of have to lean into the bars a little bit and kind of bend your elbows. Use your arms as like shock absorbers, essentially, and your thighs or your knees. You got to press your knees against the tank. But you should always be pressing your knees against the tank. Whoops, slipped out of gear. But that's a good thing to practice, is just that. Just getting used to that, accelerating from static, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of things you should be practicing, but again, you start to recognize as you start to ride more often, you're like, oh, I'm not as, I hate the way I turn because I'm not, right there he was gonna take it, but he saw me. But I was ready for it. Yeah, as you start riding, you realize, like, man, I hate how I turn. I feel stupid. It feels really sloppy, or I feel like I should be doing it tighter. Yeah, there's just things like that. I mean, I don't understand how people have been riding for a year and they're still, like, fucking... they just don't know where to go, like they don't know where to improve. I mean, the first thing you should improve for sure is clutch control. Knowing where the friction zone is at. That is one of the most important things to learn quick, or to master. Another one is going to be shifting. I mean, because you get like lazy shifters. I'll demonstrate. Down, clutch out, you know, on the gas. I want to go up, clutch in, up, clutch out, gas. That's how a lot of new riders do it, but as you get more experience, you want to, you know, get fast at it. Because it's very important that your rear tire is always on power. That's how you control the bike for the most part. Of course, you got the brakes and stuff, but you can also control deceleration with, as I said earlier, the clutch, the transmission. But just learning how to, you know, shift fast like that. And no, I do not have a quick shifter. This is all bare bones. This is as bare bones as Honda gets. No rider age or anything. And that's one thing you should master quick, or develop quick as a rider. Focus on your shifting. I mean, of course, there's other things like safety and such. But when it comes to your like ergonomics and stuff, friction zone and shifting is really important. I mean, braking's should be practicing that anyways. Yeah, you see? And of course, the better you get at it, the more fun you can have. You have a lot more tools at your disposal to have fun. You're not strictly limited to, oh, I can only ride the streets because I'm not comfortable lane splitting, or I can't ride, I don't know, this because of that. You know, you can do some really dumb shit with these modern motorcycles. They can handle a beating. They can handle a lot of things. It's surprising. Also, knowing which gear to be in. I feel like a way to develop that off the motorcycle is playing racing video games. Of course, you know, racing video games that have a manual transmission mode, because most games default you on the automatic. Put the music down. Yeah, learning to just shift in a video game. Not necessarily. You don't necessarily need the clutch option. Fuck out of here, guy. You don't necessarily need the clutch as long as you have options to choose between, you know, going up or down gears manually, like paddle shifting essentially. You know, you'll learn the friction zone. I feel like it's kind of useless to learn that in a video game, because like it's very, there's no feedback when it comes to learning the clutch on a video game, as opposed to a real bike. Too much clutch too early, you're gonna be, you know, jerking back and forth like that. It's very jarring. It's a skill you have to develop. Having the correct gear as well. I mean, granted, it goes with any sport, any kind of hobby. You know, you start to buy the cheap shit, and you're like, oh, I need some, you know, discover there's something nicer, and you realize like, oh yeah, you pay more money for this because it's nicer, it gives you better ergonomics, it gives you better controls, better feedback. But investing in some quality gear, you know, that eventually you will get around to it if you're around long enough. You're going to have to buy new gear, and you're generally going to want to buy more expensive gear, like these gloves. I mean, they're not super expensive, but they're, you know, some of the nicer gloves you can buy. You want good fitting gear. My first helmet was like a size too large, so it was like flopping all over the place. Get out of the way, Accord. It was flopping all over the place, so I wasn't comfortable with throwing my head around to check my blind spots. Eventually I bought this nice showy helmet, and it's like, whoa, I'm never going back to shitty helmets ever again. Same with these gloves. I used to fuck around with the cheap Asian stuff, because those are the only ones that fit, because Asian people generally have smaller hands, so they come in my sizes. But it turns out, oh yeah, I can buy American and European women's size small, and that'll fit me generally. Ooh, we got busted. I generally don't want to. I had to don't like doing that, rev bombing, to let people aware, but just sometimes it feels necessary. You know, you had that cop coming in from the left, so obviously people are distracted. They're not paying attention to their right, or they're not paying attention to the shit that's going on behind them. You know, they're too busy thinking about, like, wow, that was a Tesla getting chased by a cop. Fucking idiot. That's a nice color purple from Chevy Spark, Aveo, I don't know. As a motorcyclist, my suggestions: work on your friction plate, work on your throttle, work on your braking. Low speed shit, just get really comfortable with low speed stuff. I feel like if you get extremely comfortable with low speed shit, which I haven't done in a while because, I mean, I just haven't been in the mood to improve myself. But if you just start throwing your bike around, you know, really hard at low speed, you're like, huh, maybe I mean, it just gives you more confidence for when you actually start going fast in the canyons, and you can just, again, you develop your skills really fast when you start pushing your low speed maneuvering, when you start pushing those, I don't know what you'd call them, skills, your capabilities, and I don't know what that, anyone knows why it does that? Like when I'm decelerating, the bars just kind of wobble, especially if I'm like coming off of like 60, 70 miles an hour, and I just let the bike engine brake, it'll start wobbling pretty bad. Only when it's engine braking or when it's decelerating. Never when I'm like on the brakes or accelerating. It's just when I let go of the throttle. So yeah, any information on that would be much appreciated. Also, learning not to put your feet down. I mean, right now, I can put my foot down if I want to, but why? Then I'm just sacrificing control to either my shifter or my rear brake. Yeah, so just trying to play that game of like the floor is lava, like try not to put your feet down because you're gonna lose. Counting your gears too, that's important. I know I'm in 6th gear because I was counting them, you know. But I mean, great. Thankfully, these newer bikes, they come with gear indicators. Mine doesn't. Not that I need it because, again, you count your gears. I mean, you can just, you know, tap to 6 or tap to the imaginary 7th gear and get nothing. That's another method to double check your gears, but like just knowing what each gear does. Each gear is going to behave a little bit differently. Some of them will have like a certain characteristic to them that they share. Like second and third gear are just like amazing. Whoa, that's fucking cool. Second and third gear are amazing for lane splitting, or just like generally just rolling low speed maneuvers. First gears, I mean, pretty much anywhere from rolling low speed maneuvers, at least for this bike because it's inline 4, it's got that rev range. So rolling low speed maneuvers to launching, yeah, I guess you can kind of launch on second, but why would you do that? Also, I like 3rd through 5th gear for canyon riding because, like I mentioned earlier, this thing doesn't have rider aids, it doesn't have traction control, it doesn't have ABS, doesn't have anything. And since it's an inline 4, power doesn't really kick on till like 5.5 to 6,000 RPM. So if you're always on the higher gears, you know, 4th through 5th, in the canyons, you are not going to experience wheel spin, which is, if you ever experience that in the corner, it's fucking terrifying. That's a big dog. It's fucking terrifying. So I learned that, hey, 4th through 5th, while doing 70 to 90 miles an hour, generally doesn't induce wheel spin, because there's just not enough torque down at 5,500 RPM. I don't even know where I was going with that. Sixth gear is pretty much good for anything. Anywhere from like 45 miles an hour if you just want to keep it chill to fucking top speed. Does not matter. Second gear, you see, I don't want to say that was a launch, but you're able to accelerate most vehicles, vehicular vessels. But yeah, that's about it, fuckers. I had no planned topic, I was just fucking rambling like I always do. So peace the fuck out.